everyone. It is September 14th and it feels amazing out here. It feels like fall. And I just wanted to take a video to show where the garden is at right now. And it has changed a lot. Let's see. See, I tore out all the tomatoes that were right here. Those were my larger breeds, my Cherokee purples and my beefsteaks. And I've still got the cherry tomatoes right here going strong. I built a tunnel with what I thought was cattle panel, but you know, not having ever grown up around cattle, I had no idea what cattle panel actually was. This is just garden fencing from the Home Depot, but I thought, oh, it looks the same. But it's not as strong, and as you can see, it's like, it was a nice tunnel shape, and then the tomato plants got heavier and it rained, and so it's bowed out and collapsed. But, so I learned a lesson for next year. I am gonna get actual cattle panel and build a tomato tunnel, and I'm gonna do it before I even put the tomatoes in the ground instead of when they're already collapsing. But you know, obviously I tried out some other tomato support methods that didn't pan out, so I really learned a lot about tomatoes and what they need to be supported. But it has been pretty fun. I get a little like rolling like stool, little automotive thing that Chris uses to work on cars, and it has wheels, and I just set it down, and then I just sit under here and I just roll and I just pick tomatoes from under here. As you can see, there's lots of brown leaves. The tomatoes, you know, they've been fighting that same disease that for a long time, and the cherry tomatoes did way better than the larger tomatoes did with it. Like the larger tomato plants, I got a good bit of tomatoes from them, but I feel like it was only a fraction of what I can get if I manage to do some things differently and avoid that disease next year. But the cherry tomato plants did a lot better. Like they're still, you know, getting brown leaves that are falling off. They have the disease, but they just keep growing and growing, and like there's still a lot of healthy plant that just keeps growing and making more tomatoes. I love that it did grow all the way over the tunnel, and so now it's just hanging down. And you know, it's September. I don't know how much longer the plants are gonna keep doing this, but I mean, there's still tons of yellow flowers on here. And I've made like, I love these cherry tomatoes. I've made about 3 batches of tomato jam with them so far. I love tomato jam. And so yeah, next year I think that I'll probably also water my tomato plants. I watered from the top this year because I just didn't have a different setup, but I'm going to make a real effort and get the equipment that I need in order to get like a drip line or something to water the plants at the base. That'll help with that disease. And also I heard that putting cornmeal is actually a proven thing, like whole organic, like ground, like medium ground cornmeal, putting that in the soil, something in that counteracts the diseases in the soil that can bother your tomato plants. So I'm gonna try that next year. I've got some carrots growing with a bunch of weeds right here, so I don't even know how those are doing. Lemon balm, I have so enjoyed growing this. I'm excited that it's a perennial that's gonna stick around and be bigger next year. I've made a lot of tea with it. I think I'm gonna try and make tincture with it before the frost and everything. Kale is not doing super great, I don't think. I mean, I've had a lot of pests get at it, but I just haven't had a lot of kale think I need to plant more plants and do some more research and figure out how to keep my plants healthier. I'm gonna look into getting some BT. I guess it's, I don't know, it's like bacterial thuringiensis. I don't know how to pronounce that, but it's something to put on brassicas and cabbages and different things like that that is supposed to be really good with the, specifically the pests that target those plants. Echinacea, you know, is big and beautiful. This patch right here, and I kept waiting on it to bloom, and I actually looked up the other day and trying to figure out when it was going to bloom, and I figured out that it's a perennial and it actually may not bloom until the second or third year. So this is the first year that I planted that, so looking forward to those next year. Strawflowers are starting to bloom. This is my beauty right here. Check that out. It's got, I think, 4 flower heads clustered together right here, and they open during the day and they close back up at night, and every day they open more and more, little by little. They're really pretty and they're so cool. They're like this papery, plasticky, straw-like petals that aren't actually even petals. They're actually a type of leaf. But they're called everlasting flowers, and you know, once these open some more, I'm gonna cut them and I can keep these flowers. Like, they're, you know, they'll dry and they'll last for, I don't know how long, but they'll last for a long time as pretty dried flowers. And I have this whole little patch here. I have one more blooming right over there. That's like a pinkish color. I have lost a couple of blooms to something that has burrowed into them and hollowed them out. And actually, I have a new resident. Where did she go? Oh man. So earlier, Chris told me there was a praying mantis in the front yard and asked if I wanted her in the garden, and I said yes, 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 I want her in the garden. And I can't find her now. We set her right here because I had some aphids and things that were up here on the strawflower, and this little guy, little cucumber beetle, does not need to be here. I don't trust you. You can just scram. Oh, well, you have wings, so you'll be back. But anyway, where did she go? That's spooky, because yeah, like 10 minutes ago, the praying mantis was here in the garden. I planted a new little patch of basil a while back, and I scattered in some calendula seeds, which you can see there and there and there. Scattered in some basil and some calendula, you know, just to see what happens. Nice to have some new growth when everything else is finishing up. Corn. I do not expect to get any corn out of this second round that I have planted. I've had some problems with some caterpillars, and so a lot of them are munched down. The pests are worse now than they were when I planted the corn in the spring. So I've had a lot of damage. And look at this guy, like, he's already tasseling. He's only like 2 feet tall and he's making tassels, and I'm like, why are you doing this? So I don't really understand. Also, I have gotten some beans off of my one lonely little bean plant that survived. All the rest of the bean plants got eaten by bunnies, but I have had this one bean plant which looks really rough now because I came out here the other day and realized I had an infestation of the biggest, fattest caterpillars that were ugly. I had to pull them all off, but they did a lot of damage. But yeah, I've been getting these purple beans. I had enough to throw in some soup, some vegetable soup the other day, so that was nice. My okra plants. I've never grown okra before, and I love fresh okra. Look at these okra plants. I've gotten so much okra. I've had fried okra, I've pickled some okra, put lots of okra in vegetable soup, put mustard greens, which are down here. Put mustard greens in the vegetable soup, as well as some corn that I froze from my first round. I've also got a ton of jalapenos on the plant. They seem to be late bloomers, because I really have only harvested maybe 2 or 3 jalapenos so far, but here we are in September and they're just putting on tons and tons of peppers. And they are definitely not spicy until they start turning red, so I'm gonna wait. Yep, harvested several eggplants so far. They're delicious, but I've got to find some new eggplant recipes because eggplant parmesan is delicious, but it's fried and I don't want to have it fried all the time. Let's see, what else? Oh, chamomile. The chamomiles, they're straggling on, you know, but there's a little chamomile bloom right back there. I've picked a handful of little chamomile blooms so far, and I'll just, you know, if I have 3 or 4 blooms at a time, I'll pick them and pick some lemon balm and make a cup of tea. But maybe I can figure out how to make the chamomile more productive next year. And I've got some baby okra plants over here to show. So I planted these, I don't know, over a month ago. And I'm excited to have more okra, hopefully, before the harvest, or before the frost hits, because I love okra plants. I'm definitely thinking, like, I figured out what I like to grow, and that's, you know, okra, tomatoes, eggplant, kale, and I want to do more peppers as well. So, like, I think instead of growing so many different things next year, I might grow many more, like a higher quantity of fewer things. Who knows? You know, I still love growing a lot of different things, but like I've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 okra plants, and I would love to have much more okra than that. So I'd love to have just like a ton of okra plants, a ton of tomato plants, a ton of eggplant, like step up my quantities, but that probably means expanding the garden. But yeah, so this has been a really long rambling video. I just wanted to show the garden right now. It's different than, you know, it's different than it was in the spring and the fall and the summer, but it's still wonderful. It's a lot more chill now. I don't know, there's just less things to worry about, and it really, it gave me some peace of mind to rip out all the dead large tomato plants, all the dead cucumbers and sunflowers that were back there. It made space and it made it more peaceful back here. And I'm really just enjoying where we're at with the season, where I'm at on my personal journey. I'm just really enjoying this moment. It has its challenges and it has its struggles, but I'm very, very grateful, very thankful for everything that we have, especially right now when a lot of people are really struggling with the pandemic, and we're just really lucky. We're really lucky that Chris has a job and he's able to be home with us, and we're all healthy and safe. So at the end of the day, like, whatever little things that I worry about or that I think that we need, we don't actually need much more than we have. We don't need more than we have. We have everything we need. So yeah. If anybody watches these videos, 'cause I'm not posting them anywhere right now. But I'm talking to someone as if I am posting them, as if I have an audience. So maybe I will post them to YouTube one day, but for right now they're just a nice little look at where I am and where we've been. But I don't know. Thank you for watching, if you're watching. Bye.